Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Rhea Ripley is among the most beloved stars on the WWE roster. The Eradicator recently made an interesting request to her fans heading into Monday Night Raw. The 28-year-old has often spoken about her love for getting icked. The former Women's World Champion has close to 20 tattoos, ranging from demonic symbols to tributes, with each one telling a different story. Earlier today, the former member of the Judgment Day took to her Instagram stories to share her tattoo artist, Celeste Payne's, recent message on Instagram. Payne posted an update where she publicly refused any future requests to share the original artwork she had created for Ripley, or for that matter, any of her other clients. The Raw superstar asked the fans to read the caption of Payne's post carefully and made an earnest appeal to fans to stop making such requests to the tattoo artist. You can check out the tattoo artist's Instagram post by clicking here. Despite recent failures, Ripley continues in her pursuit of the Women's World Championship. She will lock horns with Io Sky and the reigning champion, Naomi, in a triple threat match for the gold at WWE Summer Slam. Wrestling veteran points out a major similarity between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea Ripley has been crossing paths with the Judgment Day since her departure from the faction. While feuding with the group, she also wrestled Raquel Rodriguez to reignite their NXT rivalry. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo recently explained how the two arch-rivals were very much alike. Speaking in a recent edition of the Wrestling Outlaws, Russo pointed out that Ripley was similar to Rodriguez in the aspect of selling for opponents much smaller than her. The wrestling veteran suggested that the Eradicator should follow WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash's recent advice to Rodriguez to make full use of her size advantage to dominate smaller opponents. "I gotta be honest, Rhea Ripley is in that same category as Raquel Rodriguez, as far as I am concerned. Absolutely. How many times have we spoken about Rhea Ripley selling to somebody half her size? We talked about that every single week. When it comes to big man psychology, I would listen to Kevin Nash," Russo said. In a recent interview, Raquel Rodriguez welcomed the advice from the WWE Hall of Famer with open arms, and there has been a visible change in her wrestling style ever since. It remains to be seen if Ripley will also switch to a more dominant style in the future. Rhea Ripley has never been shy about saying exactly what she wants, and ahead of this week's WWE Raw, the Eradicator has thrown everyone a curveball with an unexpected request that's already sending the WWE Universe into a frenzy. The Monday Night Raw locker room was buzzing all day after Rhea's cryptic post went live on her social media at exactly 9 a.m. It wasn't her usual menacing message about smashing an opponent or defending her turf. Instead, it was a single sentence that instantly ignited speculation, gossip, and wild theories among fans and fellow superstars alike. "I want someone to surprise me tonight. Make it worth my time." That's all she wrote, no follow-up, no emoji, no explanation. But for anyone who knows Rhea Ripley, that's more than enough to know that something big is brewing. A champion's boredom. Rhea Ripley has been reigning supreme over Raw's women's division for over a year now. She's steamrolled through challenger after challenger, leaving former champions and rising stars in her wake. While some would find comfort in domination, for Rhea, it's becoming mundane. Behind the scenes, those close to her say she's been itching for something fresh, a threat that pushes her to her limits, or maybe even beyond. She thrives on chaos, conflict, and uncertainty. Predictability is her enemy. So, this latest request isn't just a tease, it's a dare. The locker room reacts. By midday, whispers of Rhea's challenge had reached every corner of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, where Raw is set to air. Liv Morgan, who has her own score to settle with Rhea after weeks of mind games and vicious attacks, was spotted smirking when asked about it. "Surprise her? Maybe I will," Liv said backstage, brushing off the question with a flick of her platinum hair. "Or maybe I'll remind her that she's not the only one who can pull the strings around here." Becky Lynch, never one to shy away from an opportunity, had a glint in her eye when approached by a WWE Digital crew member. "Look, Rhea's bored? Good for her," Becky said with a shrug. "But if she's asking for surprises, she'd better be ready to handle what she gets. Some surprises break bones." Judgment Day's uneasy balance. The Judgment Day, Rhea's faction, has been dominant in its own right, but even her allies seem wary. Damian Priest was overheard telling Finn Balor that Rhea's games might backfire. "You know her, she wants the smoke," Priest muttered, leaning against a stack of equipment crates. "But who says the smoke won't burn the whole house down?" Finn only chuckled. Let it burn. Makes it more fun. Fans speculate wildly. Meanwhile, the WWE Universe did what it does best, dissected every possible meaning. Could this be a hint that a returning superstar might target her? Could it be a debut? Could she be looking for a new rival altogether, or maybe even an unlikely ally? Within hours, hashtags like #SurpriseRhea and #RawShock trended worldwide. Fan theories ranged from sensible, a long-teased feud with Raquel Rodriguez rekindled, to outlandish, with some fans fantasy booking an NXT call-up or even a crossover appearance by a SmackDown star. The calm before the chaos. Backstage, Rhea kept to herself, headphones in, lifting weights in the gym set up in the arena's lower levels. She didn't need to say more, her statement was out there. Now it was up to someone, anyone, brave or foolish enough to take her up on it. A cameraman who caught a glimpse of her before showtime described her demeanor as quietly amused, like a lion waiting for someone to step too close to the cage. The show begins. Raw kicked off like any other night, but the tension was palpable. Every match, every promo segment felt like it was building to something, or someone, answering Ripley's request. In the second hour, Rhea emerged from the shadows during a backstage segment with Adam Pearce. She didn't look pleased with how the night was unfolding. "This show's boring tonight, Pearce," she growled, leaning in close enough that Pearce visibly swallowed. "You've got an hour left to fix that." Pearce, ever the peacemaker, promised he'd see what he could do. But Rhea just smirked and walked away, leather jacket slung over her shoulder like a warning sign. The surprise arrives. As the main event neared, the lights dimmed. Rhea's music hit, not because she had a match scheduled, but because she wanted the ring. The Eradicator stood under the spotlight, microphone in hand. "You heard me," she said, her voice echoing through the sold-out arena. "I asked for a surprise. I asked for someone to make it worth my time. Don't waste my time." For a moment, silence. Then, a theme no one expected. The opening riff of a song no one had heard in years. The arena erupted as the Titantron flashed an all-too-familiar logo, Rowdy. It was Ronda Rousey. Face to face. Ronda hadn't been seen on WWE programming in nearly a year. Rumors of her retirement had swirled. But here she was, storming down the ramp in her signature leather jacket, eyes locked on Rhea's. The two women stood nose to nose, and the audience was electric. The possibilities flooded everyone's minds: dream matches, stipulations, bragging rights, and perhaps the greatest test of Rhea Ripley's reign yet. Rhea cracked a grin, almost delighted. This was the surprise she wanted. Without saying a word, Ronda pointed at the Raw Women's Championship draped over Rhea's shoulder, then tapped her own chest. The message was clear: "I'm coming for that." Rhea raised her mic one more time, the crowd roaring around them. "Good," she said, her grin widening into something feral. "Make me bleed for it." The fallout. Backstage, superstars gathered around monitors, jaws dropped. The WWE Universe blew up on social media. Pundits immediately began debating the implications. How would Judgment Day react? Would Ronda work alone? Was this a one-off or the beginning of an all-out war? Rhea Ripley walked up the ramp that night with her title high, her smile cruel, and her hunger renewed. Her request had been answered in the best possible way, and for the first time in months, the Eradicator had a reason to look over her shoulder. One thing was certain: Raw wouldn't be predictable anymore.